Some people want freedom and others are just tired. And if you confuse the two, you'll build a business out of burnout instead of belief. So many people are chasing entrepreneurship but never stop to ask, is this actually for me? And that's exactly what we're unpacking today. This is one of the most common questions I ask in one of my consultations, if entrepreneurship is for you. But the real power comes when the person asks that same question to themselves. But before we go any further, let me say this. If you've been thinking about entrepreneurship, obsessing over it, and feeling like the path you're on just doesn't fit anymore, then yeah, this might just be for you. But only if you're willing to go deeper than the hype. Welcome to Everything Entrepreneurship, the podcast with Kyle Jerome Carter, the only place for ambitious employees, skilled professionals, and working entrepreneurs who want more, but want to build it smart. I'm Kyle Jerome Carter, your host, and we have an episode for you today. In this video, in this podcast episode, I'm going over the 4 questions you need to ask yourself to see if entrepreneurship is for you. And depending on how you answer those, the 2 directions you can go, right? This is a fun episode because this is a topic that so many people are afraid to talk about, but it is what it is. We're tackling this because it is everything entrepreneurship, you feel me? I'm excited, but I'm also feeling the hype from the movie Sinners I just saw in theaters. Ryan Coogler, Michael B. Jordan, everybody else. Oh my goodness. 10 out of 10 movie. I would suggest that you go see it. It was crazy. You feel me? I got a couple questions again from people on social media that watch the podcast. I'm going to get into that later about me, my business, everything that's going on. But right now, you already know, we're getting to the meat and potatoes. If you're on YouTube, I ask that you hit the subscribe button. Like, subscribe, it doesn't matter. We're going up, you know. I'm getting much more traction. I appreciate that. But at the same time, that just makes me know everything I have to do has to go to the next level. You feel me? So without further ado, as I always say, let's get into it. Now, when it comes to entrepreneurship, people typically have 3 main reasons as to why they want to be an entrepreneur, right? They either typically want more money, they want more control, or they want to do something that they care about. But if we take a moment to go a little bit deeper, get into the psychology behind the reasons people get into it, it's typically one of 4 things. Number 1, people say, I'm just not happy where I am. You know, sometimes it's physically, sometimes it's metaphorically. You know, they don't like the position that they're in at their job with their life, or it could be physical. Like, you know what, I don't feel comfortable. This isn't where I want to be. I never thought I'd be here, right? People are also like, I see everybody else making what I make in a year within a month. And that's insane. I have to be able to build something of my own to make money, right? Now, 9 times out of 10, if you see that on social media, that might not be true. You know, if we ground this in reality, yes, there are tens of thousands, if not millions of people that are making your salary in a month. But at the same time, it doesn't mean just because they're doing that it was easy, right? Next, people typically say, I'm tired of being told when I can and can't live my life. You know, a lot of places run off of seniority or, depending on where you are, a hierarchy of sorts. So I know a big thing for me when I was working at the bank, actually, it doesn't matter where I was, in retail, at the bank, at the dealership, it always just rubbed me the wrong way when I would ask for the holiday off. Now, granted, if it was my first year there compared to my 4th year or whatever it might be, it was always some hurdles or some hoops I had to jump through. And sometimes I just got straight up denied. Now, I'm not saying that applies to everybody, but being told when I can and can't live my life, from vacations to pay time off to just having a schedule that's optimal to them, is another big reason. And then the last thing typically is people say, I've got this thing in me. I just can't shake it. I need to build something of my own. You feel me? We call that your entrepreneurial drive. You know, if you read the E-Myth, then you know he calls that the entrepreneurial seizure. But it doesn't matter which one of the 4, so long as it is one of the 4, not one of those surface level 3. You know, most people are going to say, I want more money. They want control over their life, and they want to do something that they care about. But you have to take a moment to reflect to see exactly who you are and where you are in your life, so you have a better understanding of why you're getting into entrepreneurship. And this actually leads into question number 1 of 4, questions that you have to ask yourself if entrepreneurship is for you. And question number one is, do you truly want it? You know, most people don't know themselves, let alone like themselves or love themselves. They can't be alone. They can't laugh with themselves, and they're just too hard. You feel me? So not for social media influence, not somebody else pressuring you, not a dream that somebody else impressed on you, and not even I have this feeling, so I want to do it. Uh, when I have a conversation with somebody to see if entrepreneurship is for them, and we literally just go from where they are and we just track backwards, we often get to the point where entrepreneurship was a seed planted by somebody else rather than by themselves. And that could be good or bad, you know? They literally could be a person that it was impressed upon them, and it just so happened to align with their work ethic and what they're willing to put into so they can get out what they want, right? But that's number one. You have to ask yourself, do I truly want this? You know, I know myself, it didn't matter. When I was at the bank, I always go back to the bank. So this is 2015, 10 years ago, a little baby KJC, right? As a personal banker, I not only handle personal accounts, lines, loans, credit, but also business accounts, people that came in. And so often I would have older people, not old, like old, you feel me? So though I was like in my 20s, saying somebody in their 30s is old, that's not old. I'm talking like, you know what? Scratch that. Nobody old said this. Just some people in their prime, you know, in their 40s, 50s, 60s, even 70s. They would ask, hey, so where do you see yourself in the next 5 years? And granted, 2015, I already had my first LLC, you know, putting things together. I said, I don't know exactly where I want to be, but I know I want to be owning a profitable business. I can literally remember it like it was just yesterday. I could just see it vividly. And I said that so many times that led me to, if we backtrack a couple episodes, your 9 to 5 is a gold mine. That led me to using my job and the things that I had to do on a daily basis to build a case study, build some market research as to what it takes to start a business. When I would ask beyond the business questions to business owners, why did you start? What do you wish you did differently? What's a mistake that you made? What's something that you regret? Stuff like that. I would always just say, you know what? I don't know exactly what I'm going to do in what capacity, but I'm going to be a profitable business owner. Now, technically, I could have taken time to sit with myself to figure out, okay, that's what you say you want. Why do you want this, right? Now, my pursuit of entrepreneurship, I'll share with you guys later, is unique to me, but it's also a story or a sentiment that I know and I've heard many people have as well. But once I did take a moment to backtrack and figure out where was the inception of this, I realized that my grandfather owned a business back in Michigan, and there was just something so cool about just seeing walking into his place, you know, like just different employees. And though I had no understanding of what kind of business it was at the time and stuff like that, just thought that was so cool. And then as I worked at the bank, I would just see how business owners would truly be able to just feed multiple families. I'm talking from the solopreneur that just has their one business, one service, they're selling it, to the person that literally has like 20 or 30 different employees. I just thought that was so cool to not just only have your own thing, but to be able to provide for so many families and making money at the same time. You feel me? I told you, there's only a couple type of people that are making money in this world. And it was, at that time, business owners that were constantly making deposits, whereas most people, I'm not just going to say employees, because there's a lot of well-off employees, probably like you, that were making withdrawals. You feel me? But as I took into account all the different people that had money, I was looking at the decisions that they made and the different obstacles they overcame, right? But let's get into question number 2. Do you want to build something real? This is another huge thing, you know? And I'm working on this for the sake of breaking down entrepreneurship in general and the transition into it, because it seems like the lines are blurred. You feel me? Somebody can sell something. Somebody could sell, I got 2 phones, right? I could sell my second phone. At that point, am I in the business of selling electronics? Maybe not. But at the same time, if I duplicate that and I start a system to get electronics from somebody else, and then I then find a way to market that, advertise it, sell it, and profit from it, then we start to get into the business territory, right? When I say there's a slippery slope of entrepreneurship and business, I always hearken it back to, does it count to cook if you make a peanut butter and jelly sandwich? You can say, I love cooking and I'm a chef. Do you become, or do you start cooking when you make a sandwich or when you prepare a meal? So you can prepare a sandwich and you can eat from that. The same way I can sell an electronic, or I can sell something that I have and I can eat from that. I can profit from that. But at the same time, at what point does it become cooking? At what point does it become a business, right? So when I get to the crossroads of, do you want to build something real? I found there's another question of understanding the individual to see, are you looking to get into a side hustle, just a second form of revenue, something that can be passive, or are you looking to start a full-blown business, right? The commitment level is different, but they're both different monsters, and they both have to be treated as such. And that leads us directly into number 3. You have to ask yourself, are you willing to commit daily? You know, a business is a very fragile thing. And though there are people that find success within their first, second, or third attempt at that business, whether it's a product, service, software, system, 90% of people don't. You know, that's another reason why I started this podcast. Though I've started many different businesses, some I've seen success first try, some I've seen success within a month, some I've seen success within a year, some I've seen zero success, just flat out, you know. So it doesn't mean that just because you're this type of person, or just because you have some capital or access to capital or credit, that you're going to have a profitable business. You know, are you willing to commit what it takes to refine yourself and refine your product and service so that it can be of quality to make a living or to make a good amount of money, right? And people don't ask that. They feel like, again, I don't have to commit to cooking if I'm making a peanut butter jelly sandwich. I can make that every single day. It's not like I have to meal prep, chop up some vegetables and stuff like that. Everybody's different. And I hope and pray that whatever business venture that you get into and that you're in right now, from here on out, it becomes profitable as fast as possible. But in reality, that's not the case. Does that mean that we discourage people from starting and trying? No, never. We just have to have the proper expectation setting going in. And that's another thing we're doing here at Everything Entrepreneurship, right? And then the 4th question you have to ask yourself is, do you have time for the process? Commitment means showing up every single day, right? If you're consistent and you have consistency, that means you're doing something again and again and again. Regardless, you're hitting that mark, right? Persistence is to hit that mark, to get off course or to fail, and get back on with intent to keep on continuing, right? Perseverance is to continue something again and again and again, fall down, mess up, fail, and get back up better than before with intention to not stop until you succeed, right? So when we talk about, do you have the time for the process? What's the gestation period of your business? Again, I can't take credit from this. My mentor and business partner said this to me like a year ago, and I was like just blown away. I'm like, golly, this is crazy. You feel me? But at the same time, if we know that there's a high chance that the success of a business or turning a profit from whatever business or service you're in, side hustle, full-blown business, may or may not come within the first, second, or third attempt of said business. What happens if it takes 100 attempts? What happens if it takes 200 attempts? What happens if it takes 57, 27, 17, 87? I'm messing with sevens right now. But regardless, is each one of those attempts could take days, could take weeks, could take months, could take years. How much time are you willing to invest in not just yourself, but into this business, into this side hustle? How often are you willing to keep showing up? Let's take it back a little bit. For the working professional that's in corporate America and looking to just have a second form of revenue, saying, okay, JC, I don't need to show up every single day for something that's supposed to be passive income. That might be true, but at the same time, if you're trying to do something, you might as well do it to the best of your ability. And in order to do it to the best of your ability, you might want to check on that thing every single day, right? Does that mean that you have to dedicate 5 hours to it or 4 hours to something every single day? No, it's about the consistency. It's about being persistent. It's about persevering past any obstacles that come in your way so that you can actually succeed in what you're going after, right? And many times after these 4 questions, and I don't want to give you guys wrong information. It is many. I'm not going to say most, but many times after going over these questions, people find out, entrepreneurship might not be my first priority. My first priority might be in moving up in my career. It might be getting the job I initially wanted. It might be coming up with a system so that my actual paycheck, my salary surpasses everything that I need to cover, right? Whether that's just covering bills, putting money aside for savings, investing, all that other stuff, rainy day fund. So maybe you answered those 4 honestly and you're feeling like, damn, maybe entrepreneurship isn't for me right now. I'm telling you again, that's actually a win, because here's the truth. You can still use the principles of entrepreneurship to level up inside your 9 to 5. You can still build systems, influence, ownership, and leadership exactly where you are. You can play the game differently, even if you're still on the corporate field. And once we unlock that in people, they're just mind blown. Oh my goodness, that's crazy. And again, when I dive deep into, because I have a golden 10, the 10 specific fields of your 9 to 5 that you can exploit. Exploit meaning derive full benefit from. Nothing negative, nothing wrong. You feel me? But once people realize, entrepreneurship might not be for me. I just want to make more money. And I truly just need to invest in something that's going to be passive. At that point, they are aware of so many different things in their 9 to 5. And again, 9 to 5, just blanket term. Some of these people working more than 9 to 5, you feel me? But they're able to see so many different areas that they can improve on themselves, improve in the actual company, and move up and leverage that to the position they want or to land the new job they want. You feel me? And many times that new raise, that new position or new job comes with that new raise. So if money is your first, second, and third priority, entrepreneurship might not be it, because it's a journey. It truly is. And sometimes it's scary. Sometimes it's lonely, for real. But if you heard those 4 questions and you passed the gut check, if you know that this is for you, then it's time to stop watching and it's time to start building. You feel me? That's exactly why I created the Pre-Requisite Challenge. Actually, you know what? Let me pause real quick. If you're a working professional and you know that you need another stream of income, or you've ever tried to build something of your own and felt like it just didn't stick, you're not the problem. Your strategy is. Most people never get introduced to entrepreneurship the right way. No structure, no plan, just noise. But from this point on, you don't have to waste time, energy, or money trying to figure it out alone. I'm hosting a 3-day employee to entrepreneur challenge, and it's built specifically for ambitious employees with real jobs, real responsibilities, real schedules, and real goals. Over those 3 days, I'll help you reframe your 9 to 5, restructure your time, and start down the path of building a second stream of income the right way without quitting, gambling, or guessing. This isn't hype. This isn't fluff. It's the most strategic, realistic way to go from an employee to entrepreneur with momentum that lasts. We start May 13th, and I'm going to have a link below where you can sign up to register. I urge you to get there. Spots aren't limited now, but as we get closer, they definitely will be. Entrepreneurship isn't a game. You can truly make life-changing money. You can put yourself in a better position, your family in a better position, and you can be responsible for employing so many different people. It's not even funny. I know when I first realized that I was actually having an impact, and granted, before I had any employees, I had a virtual assistant, right? So though I was paying him, which is good money for him overseas, but still much less than an American employee, American worker. When I got a message like, yo, like, Mr. KJC, I'm financing my house because of you, you know, like my wife and I don't have to live with my family anymore. Like she's pregnant with our kid and he's going to be able to be born in our new house. Like I don't have to drive 2 hours into town to work and then 2 hours back, I'm able to just do what I got to do here. I'm not going to lie. That was like, golly, man. I'm like, you hit my heartstrings because I didn't even expect that, you know? When you don't know why you're getting into entrepreneurship, you could just go, 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 but that doesn't last long. But through going, you feel me? And getting a message that I didn't even know that I needed to hear, I was like, oh my goodness, this is why I'm doing it. You feel me? Well, my mom said, hey, I'm going through some medical stuff. It's hard out here. And I was able to say, you know what? Say no more. I booked the ticket. I'm there. Work from Michigan for a week. If it needed to be 2 weeks, it was 2 weeks at that point. I'm there. Like, there's so many benefits from being an entrepreneur, having something of your own, and making an income that allows you to not just help yourself, but your family and other families. But you truly have to understand what your reason is as to why you're starting. We can go back to episode 1 of this podcast where I talk about goals. Like, one of the main things, know what you want by when, but why? Like, why are you doing this? You feel me? Entrepreneurship, I'm never going to steer people away from entrepreneurship, but at the same time, I feel like it does need to be in you for you to commit to the process so you can see the results. And far too often, there are people that get people into entrepreneurship the wrong way. They have 100 people sign up and they're surprised only 5, maybe 8 people succeed, with 90 to 92 people wanting refunds or just burned. Like, oh, this just didn't work. It must be a scam or something like that. And it could be a full-blown business. You feel me? So you can't listen to what everybody's saying online, on social media. You have to listen to what's inside first. But the only way you can really listen to what's inside first is if you find peace. You know, I plan on doing an episode solely about environment, because environment is one of the hugest external things that can dictate not just who you are, but what you do and how you do it. So if you're listening to this right now and you're busting your ass and you're busting your butt at your job, you've been there for years. I don't care if you got 2 jobs. You could have a kid. You could have 2 kids. You could be a single parent. It doesn't matter. If it's in you, you're not going crazy. I promise. There might be some things you have to do to prepare yourself to step up to the plate the right way, but don't fight it. You know, not many people have that support system. Not many people have, or not many people are aware of the people that are in their corner to say, you know what, you can do this. You feel me? And if nobody's in your corner, today I'm in your corner. I'm dropping this on a Monday. And if you made it this far, first off, that's huge. Everybody wants dopamine. Everybody wants a quick win. If you made it almost 30 minutes into a video, that says a lot about you. You feel me? So if you're not subscribed, definitely subscribe. I want you here with me. I want you to be part of this that I'm building. You know, I'm not taking any subscriber, any message for granted. I appreciate every single one of you. And I'm trying to build a platform to help like employees transition into entrepreneurship like no other. It doesn't matter what type of business or industry you go into, by having these fundamental the skills and have a solid understanding of what's coming. It doesn't matter where you place, you're going to succeed. And that's what we're working for. You feel me? But yeah, so let's transition into the second part of the show. What's happening in KJC's life? Well, less about me. I got a couple more questions and again, if you want to send me a question to be answered on the podcast, just email me at kjc@svsm.us or kjc@kylejeromecarter.com. Doesn't matter. Or just follow me on Instagram at kyle.jerome.carter and shoot me a DM with your question. You feel me? Might be a little weird if you just don't even say hello. So say what's popping, say hello. Whatever you feel comfortable with. But I had a couple questions. I say, you know what? Let me read a couple. So I might read like 2 or 3. Actually, you know what? Let's bring some order to this. You know, as you can tell, this part, since it's me, it's like, as long as I'm giving you the meat and potatoes for you, much more structure. So don't mind me. If you have not gone and seen Sinners, go check it out in theaters. Actually, no. So let's get into this first question. Again, I'm not going to blow nobody's stuff. I'm not going to say your name or nothing. Where did it go? I put them all over here. Hey KJC, and granted, they're not saying hey KJC, they're just asking the question. I'm just saying hey KJC. Hey KJC, do you think it's realistic to build something while working full time? Like I want to try, but it already feels like I don't have enough energy. Well, that's a great question. The key word in your question is realistic. Do I think it's realistic to build something while working full time? Yes. You know, 40 hours of 168 hours you're selling to your employer. Even if you're doing overtime, even if you're a manager, supervisor, district manager, let's say we're at 60. You still have 108 hours within a week to dedicate towards building something else. Now, under normal circumstances, or if we were to go back in time to, I don't know, like 2016 or 17, don't mind me with the number. Basically, if this was before, I'd say the pressure is not on to build a second form of revenue. But right now, more than ever, with everything that's happening in the world, you need to. And it seems like I don't have the energy is an excuse. Yes, now granted, I don't know your situation. You could have two kids, married, a job that work 60 hours, have sleep apnea, you feel me? But there's still time. Like you have time for other things, so you can make time for this. It goes back to question number 3. Like, what are you willing to commit to? Are you willing to block out 1 hour a day? Are you willing to block out 5 hours a week? Are you willing to block out something for yourself? I struggled with this a while ago, and even sometimes I still find it. You feel me? I'm making this not for my company. I'm making this for me, like my content. You feel me? That's Kyle Jerome Carter. It's so much easier. It's been so much easier in the past for me when I'm working on client work to just dedicate my time, go all in. But the moment I got to shift over to KJC work, it's like, I can get to it when I get to it. No. What I would say to you, yes, it's realistic, and I want you to block out time. I want you to start first take an audit of your time and look from the moment you get off work to the moment that you go to bed, what do you do for a full week? And then I want you to tell yourself, okay, you know what? Monday through Friday, I looked at my time from 5 to 9. I did this time. I wasted that time. I could use this better. I didn't need to be on Netflix for an hour and a half. I didn't need to be on TikTok for 2 hours. I didn't need to. You can find the time there. Once you find the time there, it's not about me thinking if it's realistic. You're going to understand it's foolish for you not to. And then when you look in your bank account, I don't care if you got a liquid 6 figures, you still need to build something else. You feel me? And if you're not going to build something else, you need to move up in that company or get a second. I'm not even going to go there. That's another, I wasn't going to say a second job. I'm not going to go there. Basically, you can do this. The execution in your 5 to 9 is crucial. So I want you Monday through Friday to go and do an audit of your time and figure out when you actually do have the time. And then that next week, I want you to force an hour, not each day, but Monday, Wednesday, Friday. I don't care if those are your busiest days. You're going to force them into your busiest days so you can show yourself with proof I was able to do this. And I got so much work done because you've been clocking in. You've been dedicating your time for somebody else. It's time for you to do that for yourself. And you're going to feel so much better when you do it too. So thank you for your question. Yeah, I hope you're watching this episode. I hope you're watching this far. I got to make shorter content, man. Short form is long form is hard for people. I love long form. Give me a time and the attention. I'm gonna give you some value, but I need to work on my short form. Where's the next question? Where did I put it? Hey KJC, I keep thinking about building something on my own, but I feel like I don't even know where to start. Like, how do I even know what kind of business makes sense for me? Well, first things first. If you're online, you might get sold like 5 different businesses to start. What was huge before was drop shipping, Amazon FBA, ATM machines, flipping real estate, and something else, right? Day trading. Right now, you have become a coach. make an online course. Day trading is still here. And there's a couple different things. It's less about knowing where to start and more about that last part you said, like, what makes sense for me? You have to ask yourself, what makes sense for you? Like, nobody else is going to be starting this business with you. And if they do, your responsibility is on your shoulders. So if you're going to dedicate to something, it might as well be something that you enjoy. Does that mean that I'm telling you to start a passion project that you just felt inspired by? No. You might want to keep your hobby fun. You feel me? You might just want to make a strategic move into something that fits your lifestyle and your risk tolerance when it comes to entrepreneurship. So I definitely would say, if you don't know where to start, look inside. I would say, what are the 10 most... Just look at my video. What was it, last week and the week before? So this is episode 14. Go to episode 12. Check out the 15 different side hustles and businesses you can get into. And shoot me a message. I still do my consultations, though I'm pushing other stuff, got client work. Yeah, DM me. We'll see where this goes. But it's about you. It's not about other people. It's not about fads. And once you figure out what makes sense for you, you're going to move so much more efficiently because you feel good about it. Right? Let's do I want to do 2 more? Let's do 1 more. All right. Hey, KJC, I got money saved, a strong resume, and connections, but I feel like I don't even know who I am outside of my career. Golly, what would you do if you were in my position? Man, that's a story that many people know, but not many people talk about. It sounds like you might be in corporate America, and it sounds like you've moved up, but at what cost? All right. Now, I don't know you, but I've heard this many times. Graduated from school, maybe not top of my class, but I did well. Started as an intern, moved up, went from this company to that company, spent 10 years there. Now I get stock options, I get a bonus, I got the corner office. But when I go home, who am I? What am I doing this for? Is my end goal my 9 to 5? Do I want to just retire and live off that money? I mean, they match my 401k, so why not? But you don't feel that fulfillment, right? So if you have money saved, which is cool, that means you probably do have access to credit. Strong resume, which means you're attractive on a business level. And connections. Connections is huge. I don't know if you meant like a big network, but when you say connections, that sounds like I know people in the government. You feel me? What would you create if you didn't owe anybody an explanation? Try that one more time. What would you create? What kind of company, what kind of business, what kind of venture would you do if you didn't have to explain yourself to anybody? Right? I'm not sure if you're close to retirement. I'm not sure if you're terrified of leaving because you have things so well, but life is short. Anything could happen to you in the next week, next month, and everything you built up. What kind of life did you live? It's not about building a business around your life, but it's about building your life around a business. You've already built something, but if you told me that you got the resume and connections, I'm trying to use it. So there is a safe play in just investing your money, trying to find something passive where money comes back to you. But at the same time, you're alive, so you might as well go after it. So what I would do, I would leverage what I got and rediscover what I want, if that makes any sense. But yeah, that's all the questions for today. What's happening in my world? Passion projects, man. Passion projects. Companies working on some stuff. Me, I need to just lock in on everything entrepreneurship because my vision for where this is gonna go compared to right now is not matching. Though again, I get so much love and support. People are constantly watching, subscribing, all that stuff. I just want to keep getting better. That's all I want to do. Keep getting better. There's an audience on TikTok, there's an audience on LinkedIn, there's an audience on Instagram, on Facebook that I can tap into. while I really refine my approach and my execution, I'm just having fun, man. Having fun, impacting people, helping people, preparing people for what it's really like, you know? But that's it on me. And if you made it this far, again, thank you. I really appreciate you. If you are an ambitious employee or just working professional, check out the challenge. Check out the Pre-Requisite challenge. Like, employed entrepreneur, nowhere else you can get this value. And I'm putting everything into it. So mark your calendars. May 13th, we're on. And until the next episode, I hope you have a great rest of your day, y'all. Go check out Sinners in theaters now. It was an amazing movie. All right.